In life, many of us face moments when everything seems to be against us. It feels as though the weight of the world is pressing down, and every move we make seems to bring more obstacles and challenges. This is a battle many don't see, a battle of the soul, the spirit, and the heart. It's not just about physical confrontations or external struggles. It's the unseen, spiritual warfare that shapes our lives in ways that are often difficult to comprehend. You might feel as though your enemies have set traps for you, and yet something incredible is happening. There is a force greater than what meets the eye, a force that is silently working behind the scenes, guiding you, protecting you, and preparing you for something far greater than you realize. This is the battle that the chosen ones face. Those of you who have endured, fought, and risen through the darkest times. You are part of a bigger plan, and your struggles are not just random tests of fate. There is divine purpose in your life, and though the forces around you may seem overwhelming, they are ultimately working in your favor. You are being refined, shaped, and protected for a destiny that only you can fulfill. The world may not understand the magnitude of what you're going through, but that's because they don't see the invisible forces at play, the angels that are fighting battles for you in realms unseen. The divine guidance that is protecting you at every turn. The moment you feel defeated is often the moment you are closest to your breakthrough. You are being prepared for greatness, and while your enemies may be trying to pull you down, their actions are only driving you higher. The unseen battle is the one that tests your faith, your strength, and your ability to trust in what you cannot yet see. But rest assured, you are not fighting this battle alone. God has already gone before you, and He is behind you, guiding you through the storms. Every trial you face is a setup for your victory. You may not see it now, but when you look back, you will understand that every setback was merely a step forward in the journey towards your purpose. In this script, we will explore the significance of being chosen, the nature of the enemies who stand in your way, and how their actions are setting the stage for your ultimate victory. You may be in a season of struggle, but remember, this is only the beginning of something extraordinary. The unseen battle is real, but so is the victory that awaits you. The nature of being chosen, a life of purpose and struggle. To understand the life of the chosen one, we must first understand what it truly means to be chosen. Being chosen isn't about being better than others. It's about being set apart for a specific purpose, one that requires strength, resilience, and unwavering faith. Being chosen doesn't mean a life of ease, but rather a life of purpose. You are not chosen to follow the crowd, to blend in, or to take the easy path. You are chosen because you have something extraordinary within you, a light that the world needs to see, a message that only you can deliver, and a calling that can only be fulfilled by you. The life of the chosen one is often marked by hardship and struggle. It's as though the world, and even those around you, sense the potential you carry and seek to either diminish or test it. From the outside, it may seem like you are always facing battles, always in the midst of one struggle or another. And the truth is, you probably are. But that's not a coincidence. You are being forged in the fire. The trials you face are not there to break you. They are there to shape you, to mold you into someone who is capable of carrying the weight of the calling upon your life. Being chosen means that you are aligned with a purpose far greater than your own personal desires. It's about something bigger than just your own success, your own comfort, or your own happiness. Your life is part of a divine plan, one that stretches beyond your understanding. The struggles you face are preparing you for something incredible. Every challenge, every betrayal, every hardship is an opportunity for you to rise, to step into your power, and to demonstrate the resilience that comes with being chosen. But with this calling comes a unique burden. You are often misunderstood, overlooked, or even rejected. People may not understand the depths of your struggles because they cannot see the spiritual forces at work. The chosen ones are often the ones who carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, not because they are weak, but because they have been entrusted with something powerful. Your purpose isn't easy, but it is powerful. You are chosen because you have the strength to endure, the wisdom to navigate the struggles, and the faith to trust that, in the end, the victory is already yours. You will face moments when you question your worth, your purpose, or your path. But in those moments, you must remember that the struggles you face are signs that you are on the right path. The world may try to break you, but it cannot stop you. The divine force guiding your life is greater than any obstacle that stands in your way. Being chosen means embracing the struggle and trusting that every battle you face is not just an attack against you, but a step towards your greater purpose. The enemies, who are they and what do they want? To understand the battle you are facing, it's crucial to know who your enemies are. Your enemies are not always those who stand in front of you, wearing visible signs of hostility. Sometimes they are the unseen forces, doubt, fear, jealousy, and hatred, that seek to derail your purpose and weaken your resolve. The enemies you face often stem from places you least expect, within yourself, in your past, and in the people around you. Your enemies are the forces that seek to undermine your faith, your confidence, and your purpose. They are the ones who try to steal your peace, to distract you from your calling, and to break you down emotionally and spiritually. They are the ones who whisper lies into your mind, telling you that you are not enough, that you will never make it, that you are destined to fail. These enemies come in many forms: the people who betray you, the circumstances that seem out of your control, and even the negative thoughts that cloud your mind. But these enemies are not invincible. They only have power over you if you allow them to. The truth is that their power is an illusion, one that they try to project onto you. They want to see you fail because they fear your potential. They want to keep you in a state of confusion, fear, and defeat because they know that once you step into your true power, nothing can stop you. The true nature of your enemies lies in their fear and ignorance. They fear the light within you, the power you hold, and the purpose you carry. They seek to control you, manipulate you, and diminish your confidence because they cannot fathom the greatness that lies ahead of you. Some of them may even be people close to you, family, friends, or co-workers, who, either knowingly or unknowingly, work against your best interests. These individuals are driven by jealousy, insecurity, or their own fears. They want to keep you small because they fear what might happen if you rise above them. But your enemies are playing a game they cannot win. They may try to deceive, betray, or harm you, but they do not understand that they are only setting the stage for their own destruction. The more they try to pull you down, the higher you rise. The more they plot against you, the more they expose themselves for who they truly are. Their actions only accelerate your path to victory. What they intend to be your downfall will ultimately be the catalyst for your rise. The darkness they wish upon you is merely the shadow that will lead you to the light. The trap set for you, understanding the schemes of the enemy. The enemies you face are not just attacking you aimlessly. Every plot, every action they take is part of a bigger plan, a plan to try to take away your peace, your purpose, and your strength. But what they don't understand is that every trap they set is actually a stepping stone in your journey towards greatness. Their attempts to harm you are not just random acts of malice. They are the seeds of their own downfall. The schemes of your enemies are rooted in manipulation and control. They believe they can bend the world around them to their will. They try to control your circumstances, strip you of your power, and break your spirit. Whether it's through lies, betrayal, or subtle sabotage, they want to weaken you, confuse you, and derail you from your path. They believe they can predict your every move, that they can force you into a position where you will be helpless. But they are gravely mistaken. The reality is that the traps they set are not meant for you to fall into. They are meant to reveal the power you possess to rise above them. Every attack, every plot, every deception they use against you only strengthens your resolve and brings you closer to the fulfillment of your destiny. You are being tested, yes, but these tests are not designed to break you. They are designed to elevate you. The enemies are playing a game of their own, thinking they have the upper hand, but they are being outplayed by a higher force. What they fail to realize is that the very trap they set for you will eventually become the mechanism of their own destruction. The lies they spread will unravel, the betrayals will be exposed, and their manipulation will backfire. Their plans are built on a foundation of deceit and arrogance, and just as a house built on sand cannot stand, neither will their schemes. Their traps are like a web they weave around themselves, thinking they can control you, but in reality, they are entangling themselves. Every move they make to pull you into their snare is a step closer to their own downfall. What they intended for harm is, in fact, leading to their destruction. You are protected by a divine hand that has already seen the end from the beginning. The more they try to hurt you, the more they reveal their own vulnerability. The trap they set for you is not your doom, it is their undoing. And as they watch in disbelief, they will see you rise, unscathed and empowered, while their plans crumble around them. Divine intervention, how God is working behind the scenes. In moments of struggle and adversity, it is often difficult to see the full picture. The weight of the trials we face can sometimes blind us to the greater forces at work in our lives. We may feel isolated, overwhelmed, or even abandoned, but what we often fail to recognize is that the divine hand of God is at work behind the scenes, orchestrating events in ways that we cannot yet comprehend. Divine intervention is not always dramatic or visible. Often, it operates in subtle ways, behind the curtain of our perception, working tirelessly to ensure our ultimate victory. When we face battles, we may look for immediate signs of intervention, longing for visible and tangible proof that God is working on our behalf. But divine intervention doesn't always come in the form of obvious miracles or dramatic displays of power. Sometimes, it's in the quiet moments, when you feel the calmness despite the storm, when you experience the strength to carry on even when everything inside you says to give up. Divine intervention can be a gentle whisper that guides you, a moment of clarity in a sea of confusion, or an unexpected encounter that leads to your breakthrough. God's hand moves in ways we may not immediately understand, but His presence is constant and unwavering. His timing is flawless, and His plan is always far more perfect than we could ever imagine. The beauty of divine intervention is that it operates not just on the external level, but on a deep spiritual level as well. When the world is trying to tear you down, when your enemies are plotting against you, God is quietly at work, setting up circumstances to protect, strengthen, and guide you. You may not see the angels at work, but they are there, fighting battles in realms you cannot see. You may not see how your path is being cleared, but it is happening. The trials you face are not without purpose. They are a refining fire designed to make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The attacks on your life, the betrayals, the setbacks, they are not for nothing. They are part of a greater plan. There may be times when the obstacles in front of you seem insurmountable. You may feel like you've reached a dead end, like all hope is lost. But know this, divine intervention is already in motion. God is working on your behalf in ways you cannot see, positioning you for the breakthrough you've been waiting for. The plot of your enemies is already being undone. The traps they've set for you are being dismantled as God orchestrates your victory. You might not see the shift happening, but in the spiritual realm, the tide is turning in your favor. What your enemies intended to break you, God is using to build you up. Every attempt to destroy you is merely a step toward the fulfillment of your divine purpose. And when that breakthrough comes, when the floodgates of your victory open, it will be clear that it was not by your own strength, but by the divine hand of God. You will look back at the struggles and understand that each step was divinely guided. The trials you faced were not in vain. They were part of the greater journey toward the purpose you were born to fulfill. Divine intervention is not always immediate, but when it arrives, it does so with perfect timing, ensuring that you are prepared for everything that lies ahead. Trust in the process, trust in the unseen hand that is guiding you. Your victory is already assured, and it's only a matter of time before you step into the fullness of your purpose. The enemy's downfall, the inevitable consequences of their actions. There is a law that governs the universe, a law that cannot be escaped or avoided. It is the law of cause and effect, the law of reaping what you sow. For those who plot against the chosen ones, this law is inescapable. Every word of malice, every act of betrayal, every attempt to bring harm will eventually return to them. The enemies who think they can destroy you, who think they can manipulate your path or strip away your peace, will find that their actions are not without consequences. The very seeds they plant will grow into a harvest they cannot escape. The downfall of your enemies is inevitable. Their schemes may seem clever at first, their efforts may appear successful for a time, but the truth is that no one can outwit divine justice. No matter how much they try to control the narrative or deceive others, their actions will eventually catch up to them. They may be able to fool the world, but they cannot deceive the one who sees all, the Creator who has been watching their every move. The reason for their downfall is simple. Their intentions were rooted in selfishness, pride, and malice. They sought to undermine you because they were threatened by your light. They wanted to see you fail because they feared what you would become. But in their arrogance, they failed to understand one simple truth. What they intended to harm you with, God will use for your elevation. The very actions they took to destroy you are setting the stage for their own undoing. Every lie they told will be exposed. Every betrayal they committed will come to light. And every effort to manipulate you will only serve to reveal their true nature to the world. The enemies who once mocked you, belittled you, or tried to strip you of your peace will now find themselves entangled in the consequences of their own actions. They will face confusion, frustration, and spiritual decay. The walls they built to protect themselves from the truth will begin to crumble. The lies they told to cover up their treachery will be exposed, and they will find themselves standing on shaky ground, unable to maintain the false image they worked so hard to create. What they once held as power will slip through their fingers, leaving them weak and vulnerable. Their downfall will be gradual, but it will be undeniable. The confidence they once had will fade, replaced by a growing sense of dread and regret. Their arrogance will be met with humility as they realize the consequences of their actions. Their plans, once so meticulously crafted, will unravel before their eyes. They will face the consequences of their deceit, and it will be a painful, inescapable process. What they once thought was their victory over you will become their greatest defeat. But the beauty of this process is that it is not your doing. You do not need to lift a finger to see your enemies fall. God's justice is perfect, and it will unfold in ways that will leave no room for escape. Their actions have already set the wheels of judgment in motion. The truth will come to light, and they will have no choice but to face the repercussions of their own choices. Your victory is secured, and their downfall is part of the divine plan that has always been in motion. Your ascension, the spiritual elevation of the chosen one. As the enemies around you face the consequences of their actions, you, the chosen one, are rising. The trials you've endured, the battles you've fought, and the obstacles you've overcome are not just signs of survival. They are the markers of your spiritual ascension. Every challenge you've faced has been an opportunity for growth, and now you are stepping into a new phase of your journey. Your ascension is not just about worldly success or recognition. It is a profound spiritual elevation that sets you apart and positions you for the fulfillment of your greater purpose. You may have experienced suffering and hardship, but those very experiences have been the fire that has refined you. You have been forged in the crucible of adversity, and now you stand as a testament to the power of divine resilience. The path that once seemed impossible to walk now appears clear, and every step you take is guided by a higher power that has been leading you all along. Your ascension is not just about moving forward, it is about moving up, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. You are no longer bound by the limitations that once held you back. You are stepping into the fullness of your potential. Your ascension is not just about what you can achieve, it's about who you are becoming. You are becoming a vessel for divine power, a beacon of hope for those around you. Your resilience has been a testament to the strength and grace that comes from walking in alignment with your purpose. The challenges you faced were not meant to break you, they were meant to build you. And now you stand tall, unshaken by the storms that once threatened to pull you under. As you rise, you are not doing so alone. You are rising with the power of divine favor behind you, lifting you up to new heights. Your enemies may have tried to break you, but they could not. Their attacks were merely the catalyst for your spiritual elevation. What they intended for harm has only served to elevate you to a position of greater influence and power. You are not just surviving, you are thriving, You are becoming the person you were always meant to be. Your ascension is a reminder to everyone watching that no matter how hard the battle, no matter how dark the night, the chosen ones will always rise. You are a living testament to the power of divine intervention, to the beauty of resilience, and to the truth that nothing, no force, no enemy, can hold you down when you are aligned with your purpose. You are stepping into the fullness of your destiny, and as you rise, you will inspire others to do the same. Your victory is not just yours. It is a victory for all who are watching, for all who are waiting to see what happens when the chosen ones stand in their truth and rise to the occasion. The enemies struggle, trapped by their own actions. Your enemies, though they may have once seemed like formidable forces, are now facing a struggle far greater than they ever anticipated. What they didn't realize is that every act of malice, every plot against you, would eventually entrap them in their own creation. Their schemes, their manipulations, and their deceptions were designed to break you, to keep you from your purpose. But in the end, it is they who are being undone. The very tactics they employed to cause you harm are now pulling them deeper into a web of their own making. They are trapped by the very things they believed would give them power over you. The lies they told, the betrayals they committed, and the injustice they served are now turning back on them. What once appeared to be their triumphs are now slowly unraveling. Their sense of control is slipping away, and the walls they built to protect themselves from the truth are crumbling. They thought they could manipulate the situation, direct the course of events in their favor, but they failed to see one crucial truth. The energy they put into tearing you down was never theirs to control. What they sowed in darkness has begun to bear fruit in the light, and now they are forced to confront the consequences of their own actions. As the chosen ones, you have been resilient, unwavering in your faith, and steadfast in your purpose. While your enemies may have momentarily seemed powerful, it is you who have stood the test of time. Your strength, your inner peace, and your commitment to the higher path have made you impervious to the attacks of those who sought to bring you down. But the struggle your enemies face is a result of their own choices. They are now in a state of confusion and desperation, unable to undo the damage they've done to themselves. Their hearts are heavy with guilt and fear, knowing deep down that the suffering they once wished upon you is now becoming their own reality. The darkness they cast toward you has returned to consume them. Their actions have set in motion a process that they can no longer stop. They may try to hide their anxiety, to maintain their facade of control, but inside, they are unraveling. The foundation they once thought was solid is now shaking beneath their feet. Every move they make to regain control only leads them further into the trap they set for you. This is the nature of divine justice. It is relentless, it is fair, and it is inescapable. What your enemies intended to do to you, to harm you, has instead been the very catalyst for their own undoing. They are trapped in a cycle of their own making, and no matter how hard they try to escape, they will only fall deeper. The very force they tried to use against you is now turning on them, stripping them of their peace, their control, and ultimately, their power. As you continue on your path, know this: the battle may seem long and the suffering may have been deep, but your enemy's struggle is inevitable. The lies they spoke, the deceit they sowed, and the hurt they caused are now returning to them, just as God promised. They may never fully understand how their actions led to their downfall, but the truth remains: they have been trapped by their own choices. And no matter how hard they struggle to break free, they are bound by the consequences of their own deeds. Divine mercy, the power of forgiveness and prayer. As the divine justice unfolds, and as your enemies face the consequences of their actions, it is important to remember that mercy remains a powerful force. It is often easy, in the face of suffering and betrayal, to want to see our enemies pay for their wrongdoings, to wish upon them the very pain they inflicted upon us. But there is a higher calling, a calling to respond with compassion, forgiveness, and prayer, not because they deserve it, but because it is through our actions that we rise above the cycle of vengeance and hatred. Divine mercy is not about excusing the wrongs committed against us. It is not about pretending that the hurt, the betrayal, or the injustice didn't happen. Instead, it is about releasing the hold that resentment and bitterness have on our hearts. It is about recognizing that, though we have been wronged, we do not have to become consumed by anger or revenge. Instead, we have the power to let go of the past, to forgive, and to offer prayer not just for our own healing, but for the possibility of redemption for those who have harmed us. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. When we hold on to anger and hatred, we are allowing those who have wronged us to continue to have power over our lives. But when we choose to forgive, we are setting ourselves free. We are releasing the control that our enemies once had over us, and we are reclaiming our peace. In doing so, we also acknowledge that we are not in charge of the final judgment. God is. He sees every injustice, He hears every cry, and He will execute justice in His perfect timing. By forgiving, we trust that He will handle the rest. But forgiveness is not just for the benefit of our own hearts. It is also for the benefit of those who have wronged us. We may never fully understand the reasons behind their actions, the pain or fear that led them to betray us. But we can extend mercy in the hope that it will open the door to healing for them. Our prayers, our willingness to forgive, can be the lifeline that leads them to repentance. While they may face the consequences of their actions, our prayers can create the space for them to experience the grace and mercy of God. The power of prayer cannot be underestimated. When we pray for those who have wronged us, we are engaging in a transformative act. We are aligning our hearts with divine love, which transcends human understanding. Our prayers can be a bridge, a means through which God works to soften hearts and bring about redemption. Through prayer, we release the hold of anger and invite healing into our own lives. We open ourselves up to the possibility that, even in the face of great pain, there is power in choosing to walk the path of mercy. In forgiving, in praying, and in extending mercy, we become more like the divine love that has been shown to us. We acknowledge that we too are flawed, that we too have made mistakes, and that God has forgiven us countless times. It is through this understanding that we can offer forgiveness to others, not because they deserve it, but because we have been given grace that we did not deserve. And in this grace, we find the freedom to rise above the cycles of hatred and vengeance. The final reckoning, the inevitable justice of God. There comes a moment when all things are brought into alignment. The universe moves in ways that are often beyond our understanding, but there is one truth that stands eternal: justice will always be served. For those who have wronged the chosen ones, the final reckoning is inevitable. It is not something to be feared, nor something to be gloated over. It is simply the way that divine justice operates. There are no secrets hidden from God. There are no actions, no words, no deeds that escape His notice. And when the time is right, He will bring everything into the light. The final reckoning is the moment when those who have wronged others, those who have sown pain, deceit, and destruction, must face the consequences of their actions. It is a moment of truth, a moment when the scales are balanced, and when justice, not revenge, is served. It is not for us to hasten this moment or to make it happen on our own terms. It is for God to execute, and He does so with perfect timing. The law of reaping and sowing is unyielding, and no one can escape its consequences. What is important for the chosen ones to understand is that God's justice is not always immediate. It may not come in the way we expect, nor in the time frame that we desire. But rest assured, divine justice is never delayed. It is simply unfolding according to God's perfect plan. And when the time is right, those who have caused harm, those who have worked in darkness, will have no choice but to face the consequences of their actions. The final reckoning is not about revenge. It is about the restoration of balance, the upholding of divine order, and the bringing of truth into the open. For the chosen ones, it is a reminder that no injustice goes unnoticed. Your suffering, your pain, and your tears have not been in vain. God has seen every moment, and His justice will ensure that every wrong is righted. The enemies who thought they could escape the consequences of their actions will be forced to face the truth. And in that moment, they will understand the weight of what they have done. But for you, the chosen one, the final reckoning is a time of vindication. It is a time when you can look back at the trials you faced and know that they were not for nothing. The suffering you endured was not in vain. It was a test, a trial, and a preparation for the victory that is now yours. As your enemies face the justice that is their due, you will rise, unshaken and unbroken, knowing that God's hand has always been upon you. The final reckoning is the moment when all things come into alignment, when divine justice is served, and when the chosen ones step into their full inheritance. This moment of reckoning is not something to fear or dread. It is a sign that God's kingdom is coming into full expression. It is a reminder that justice will be done, that all things will be made right, and that no power, no enemy, no force can stand against the divine order. You have been chosen for this moment, and as you rise, you will see the fulfillment of all that was promised to you. Your victory is assured, and the final reckoning is the moment when it all comes into alignment. Trust in God's timing and know that He is always at work to bring justice, restoration, and peace.